Get ready to actually feel something for once. Today we're going to talk about a simple yet powerful method for creating emotion in your stories. By the way, my name is Brandon McNulty. I'm the author of Story Made Simple, which covers the 8 key elements of storytelling. If you want to learn more or pick up your copy today, check the link in the description below. One of the biggest concerns that my subscribers have is creating and deepening emotion within their stories. And that's a worthwhile concern because let's face it, the whole point of a story is to deliver a dynamic, emotional experience that engages the audience till the very end. Unfortunately, the problem with a lot of writing is that it involves bland, predictable energy, these one-note emotions that fail to intrigue us or create tension. We want to do better than that, so today we're going to talk about why you need dynamic emotional experiences, how to create them using a simple 2-step method, and I'll wrap up the video with some examples to hammer everything home. First off, let's talk about why you need dynamic emotional experiences. And it's because emotion is the whole point of storytelling. If there's no emotion, you're either writing a bad story or an essay. And the thing to remember is that a story is a series of ups and downs. It's a roller coaster that happens to be fueled by emotion. But not just one emotion at a time. In most cases, we need two, and better yet, we want them conflicting with each other. That's what creates intrigue, tension, and depth. Alright, now let's talk about a simple 2-step method for creating dynamic emotional experiences. And it's really simple. You pick one emotion, and then you pick another emotion that conflicts with it. This is what deepens the experience. You have one positive emotion and one negative emotion, and they're conflicting with each other in a given moment, a given scene, or a given stretch of time within your story. It can be relief and caution, hope and danger, admiration and disgust. Whatever it is, they don't necessarily have to be polar opposites, but they do need to conflict in some way. You don't want to purely rely on positive all the time or purely rely on negative all the time. Find a way to mix them, again, if your story feels bland at some point. And here are 3 ways to generate emotional impact using that 2-step method I just talked about. First way is to create conflicting descriptions or images. And when we're talking about descriptions, we're talking about when you describe characters, settings, or situations. If a description is all good or all bad, that can potentially be boring. But if you want to mix things up a little bit, combine the good with the bad, that's when it can get interesting. Here's an example from the book version of Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. Pay attention to how Martin describes the character of Jaime Lannister. Sir Jaime was tall and golden, with flashing green eyes and a smile that cut like a blade. They called him the Lion of Lannister to his face and whispered Kingslayer behind his back. Notice how each sentence is emotionally dynamic. First, Martin paints Jaime in a positive light by using positive attributes, such as tall, golden, and flashing green eyes. Then we get a negative edge with that smile that cuts like a blade. The second sentence pulls off the same thing. We have that positive and public side to Jaime, followed by his darker side that paints him as dangerous. Here's another example from the crime novel Savage Season by Joe Lansdale. It's the opening of a chapter where the narrator returns to a town where he once lived. The town really started before the city limits. There was a line of beer joints on either side of the highway, ramshackle fire hazards with neon pretzels on their roofs and above their doorways. Among them were 2 places I well remembered, the Roundup Club and the Sweet White Lily. Next came the long, wide river bridge and the city limits sign that read population 5,606. Then we were on Main Street, coasting past closed businesses with boarded windows and bolted doors, service stations with oil-spotted drives, and greasy-capped men with their hands on gas nozzles or leaky tires. As we went deeper into town, it got better. Open stores and more people. But the place still looked sad. Not that it had been any budding metropolis when I lived there. Now, if you notice, the vibe swings back and forth between negative and positive. The narrator's attitude colors the area and brings it to life through conflicting emotions. At first, he's viewing the area with a sense of disgust, then warm nostalgia, then regret, then hope, and then sadness. And the shifting emotions make this description much more engaging than if it was all good or all bad. Second way is through creating conflicted characters. And moving beyond descriptions, think about how characters feel. Think about what they want in a scene that's positive and what they want to avoid in a scene that's negative. For example, look at this iconic scene from Silence of the Lambs. FBI trainee Clarice Starling is hoping to help out her boss and advance her career by interviewing Hannibal Lecter. Determination is the positive emotion, and there's also a negative emotion here, which is discomfort. Clarice is uncomfortable because she enters this dungeon full of lunatics, and that discomfort escalates as Hannibal reads right through her and analyzes her shortcomings.
Do you know what you look like to me with your good bag and your cheap shoes? You look like a rube. Good nutrition's given you some length of bone, but you're not more than one generation from poor white trash, are you, Agent Starling?
Here's another example from Good Will Hunting. In this scene, Will goes on a date with Skylar. The conflicting emotions here are hope and dread. Will is hopeful he can earn Skylar's love, but he's also dreading the idea of her abandoning him.
Well, is Harvard getting all that money?
No, Stanford. I'm going there in June when I graduate.
All right, so you just wanted to use this sailor and then run away, huh? Hey, you want to see my magic trick, Skylar? Of course. All right, make all these cameras disappear. 1, 2, 3. They're all gone. Yeah. It works better when I have my rabbit.
This scene engages us not just because it's fun, but because by having him express this negative fear of losing her, we get a stronger dynamic that creates deeper emotional impact. And the third way is by creating a conflicted audience. And this involves the idea of dramatic irony. Now, dramatic irony is when we, the audience, know something that the characters don't. So the characters may be feeling purely positive, but we know something bad is going to happen, so that mixes up the emotions. A great example of this would be from Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's during that scene where Indiana Jones has the medallion analyzed. Now, from Indy's perspective, this scene is pretty straightforward. He's eager to get information that will lead him to the Ark, and he wants to enjoy a snack while speaking with a cooperative old man. That's pretty boring, right? Wrong, because the scene opens with one of Indy's enemies poisoning his food. Then, when Indy prepares to eat the food, that's when the negative emotion kicks in. That's when we start to worry for him. Now remember, for Indy, this experience is purely positive. He's looking to enjoy a snack while he gets the info he needs, but for us, because we know the full picture, we dread the idea of him getting poisoned. Here's another example. This one comes from this obscure 90s movie called Titanic. Early on, a lower-class man named Jack wins a ticket to board the Titanic, and he thinks he's the luckiest man on Earth. His positive emotion of excitement is all he's aware of, but we know better. We know the ship's going to sink, and we're thinking, no, you're not lucky at all, you dipshit. And that's what makes the scene engaging. That sense of impending doom deepens the experience for the audience and keeps us intrigued. So I hope this helps. Question of the day: what's your favorite moment or scene that involves conflicting emotions? Let us know in the comments section below. Thank you for watching. If you want to support the channel, please pick up a copy of any one of my books and be sure to leave reviews on Amazon. Story Made Simple is great if you're a writer. It covers the 8 key elements of storytelling, and it does so in no-nonsense fashion. Also, be sure to check out my other videos, like, share, and subscribe, maybe support me on Patreon, and as always, remember to keep on writing.